Good. So,
What a beautiful day, huh?
yeah, beautiful day. I had to do this outside because, hey, this is why we live here, man. The weather, you just can't beat it. Speaking of the weather, if you can tell by the title of this one, the failed state. So Texas, I have zero sympathy for them. Zero sympathy for them. This is just par for the course for them. So no power, 4 million people without any power, no water. They got their FEMA money coming. You also have got. So what happened over there? Let's just break it down bit by bit, and then I'm going to go into how Texas targets California for every resource and issue. I'm going to get into that a little bit later, because that is just annoying in itself. Texas is a failed state, not once but twice. So you've had a state here. You have Texas that's actually had its independence. It was an independent country, and it failed. It was in abject squalor and poverty, and the United States had to come bail them out. Here it is again. Once again, you've got empty shelves at grocery stores, people without any water. They're melting snow and boiling it. Any water that comes out of the tap, they gotta boil it because there's no pressure. There's no power. No power. That means no internet. That means no communication. That means no filtration for the water. That means a whole slew. And so who are the powers that be? So Texas prides itself on being unregulated. So in their unregulated energies market, consumers like you and me get to pay wholesale cost of what like an energy distributor would pay. That's total bullshit, of course. So they got a nice fat $10,000 bill in the month for this month, and no power and no water. But everybody's bill is going to be $10,000. Am I right about that? So
You're absolutely right. But another point to consider is when you look at all, and this dialogue is starting, when you look at all the water damage that has occurred from ruptured pipes, okay, say the pipes rupture in your house because local utility service isn't working properly. Well, then your insurance is going to say, you're going to have to go after the city. We're not backing this.
Yeah.
So wait till you see the fallout from all the damage.
No.
And it's going to fall on the backs of the same people that are getting screwed right now.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it is. It is. So, I mean, what they had is a price surge in electricity. So on Thursday at midnight, it was $9,000 a megawatt or kilowatt?
Well, I think it was a megawatt hour.
Megawatt hour, $9,000. So you know our electricity bill, they always charge us when it hits that peak is when they're going to charge. That's what we get dinged on. So it was $9,000 at midnight on Thursday. By Friday at 4 p.m., it was less than $1. That's the price fluctuation that it took, and everybody's going to get stuck with a big fat $10,000 bill, 4 million residents, and still, some of them to this day, no power. And this is Saturday. So
when you talk about failures, first you're intelligently and accurately addressing failure upon the state government to responsibly act in the best interest of the consumer and the citizen. Then when you look at the actual hardware failure, the nuts and bolts, if you will, because they are an unregulated state, they didn't have to comply with federal regulations for winterizing, which they should have started in September and October.
Is there federal regulations for winterizing? I don't think it's here. We don't have that here, do we?
Yeah, if you're part of like the federal power grid, or you're under.
Oh no, our winterizing goes well beyond federal standards.
But
right.
State can implement something for a higher stringency, but just to meet minimal federal compliance, that was not met. So they had critical hardware failures of all the systems that could and should be supplying service that you're paying for as a consumer. And then what happens is it all fails. It all fails. So the green argument that green power failed, yes, a lot of the wind turbines did fail, but they only provide 8% of all the utility for the state of Texas. And then when they try to push this green agenda, we have to remember Texas has a Republican governor They have two Republican senators in Washington, D.C. Their state Senate is all Republican, and their state House is all Republican as well. So it's not even close to a Democratic state in any way. There are a couple areas that voted heavily in favor of the current President Biden, but
I find it really funny
they don't have anybody to blame but themselves and their own greed.
I find it funny how it's a Republican state, and they were against the Green New Deal, but here you have AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, raising $3 million for the state of Texas out of the goodness of her heart. I mean, she doesn't have to do that at all.
And also, the FEMA response has been pretty quick. You know, the last president would have slowed down his response to an area that maybe wasn't very liking of him. He would only help out those states that were loyal to him, where our federal system is sending help to Texas, irregardless of whether they're red or blue. So there's something to be said about the actions of the current administration as well. Certainly it's going to be FEMA, and it'll probably be mismanaged and overspent, but at least the effort is being made. You know, they're trying to do things on a professional level.
Well, I mean, look, we want to talk about FEMA. I mean, look, we were burning to the ground here with the orange skies on fire, and we got denied our FEMA. So, I mean,
the president wanted to deny our FEMA.
Yeah, he did.
Because
hold on.
because we had sanctuary cities.
And here's the kicker. I don't give a shit what he's dude, we pay into that, man. We pay into that for a fucking reason, dude. He has no right to fucking hold it from us, but he did. And the kicker part is that those fires were on federal lands. Not even our lands. 50% of California is owned by the federal government. Now, Texas, you own all your shit. You own all of your stuff. So there's really no excuse for you guys to fall off the wagon here.
Now, if you look at big money, big oil money, and how it's donated to our politicians, the two people that receive the most money from the oil lobby are the two senators from Texas, Ted Cruz and the other guy. 7 of the top 20 politicians in our federal system that receive money from big oil are all from the state of Texas. So an overwhelming interest in Texas oil and Texas gas. And they drop the ball, and they have nobody but their greed to blame for themselves.
So that's just all the power. Now let's talk about the water real quick here. So the water in Texas is run by a company called Aqua Texas, which is a sub of Aqua America. And I won't get into all the CEOs and what they bonus and all that crap, because it's absolute bullshit. But their pipes are bursting, meaning it's getting so cold that the pipes are bursting, for crying out loud. I mean, there's no set standards there. They need to winterize it, like Larry was saying, but they don't want to spend that money on it.
But the other thing, let's even take this a step farther. In the year 2021, you think the local weather people would have known there was a storm coming in advance?
Weather people ever know shit, bro.
Where was that call? But the problem with winterizing, when your pipes start to freeze, you get these idiots in their house that take a blowtorch to the pipe to try to thaw them out. And then that heat travels up the pipe and it causes homes to catch on fire. So
here's the thing. You've got a company, Aqua Texas, that purchased a natural gas company for $4 billion 2 years ago, cash. So that's a cash deal at $4 billion. So you're thinking Aqua America and Aqua Texas, probably in the good $20-30 billion range, okay? But they still couldn't winterize their flipping pipes, right? For the safety of their own, for the constituents of Texas. That's fine. So winterizing it would mean there would be an increase in taxes possibly, which Texas will never do, right? So that's out of the question. But the whole thing is, why do you have shitty old pipes in the first place? So I was just telling Lara, I mean, whenever there's like a storm or something in Texas where a bunch of houses go down or and they need construction guys out there, our contractors here in California head out there all the time. And we bid the jobs, and we get the jobs in Texas. Now, why do you think developers out there are getting California contractors instead of hiring Texas contractors? Why? Because we have standards and regulations in this state. We have a standard of living that must be kept. regardless of what status you are in life, it's got to be the standard for everybody's safety. And for some reason, the rest of America, maybe not New York, can't seem to understand that. It isn't this individualism, look out for my own self and my own pocketbook is what is causing the empty shelves, the no water. I mean, dude, this is a third world country. You're talking about
this is a gross example of a severe lack of ability to just meet the basic needs of a society that pays taxes to ensure that kind of thing happens, all for the profit of a few. And it's a complete basic failure. They didn't winterize their equipment failed. And it was also under heavy labor because of extreme use, because everything was failing, so people had to use heat. And it was a complete domino effect due to gross mismanagement. Now, nobody's going to get fired. They're going to get promotions and probably bonuses.
Yeah. And nothing's going to change in Texas. They will never change shit because they're Republican ran. You've got Ted Cruz doing nothing. He's a do-nothing guy, and he's doing what he does best, which is absolutely nothing at all. Which brings me to the next subject, which I wanted to bring up here. How Texas has consistently targeted California for multiple things, whether it's swaying our residents to move there, swaying our businesses to move there. What's the name of the one governor, the first governor? He was just in the Trump administration too, kind of a dummy. Had a ranch called Nagar Ranch. What's his name?
Oh, jeez.
What's his name? You just said his name.
You're talking about the former governor of Texas?
Rick Perry started this, and he came out to California, and he started swaying our Fortune 500s to move out there, and some of them did. Most of them didn't, thank God, of course not. And if they want to go, they're more than welcome. Take Tesla. They can take Tesla. Tesla wants to go to Texas. Tesla, go to fucking Texas. I heard you're going to Texas. Go, bro. Yeah, I hope this is what you got to look forward to, Tesla, because Tesla can't keep up with our worker standards. Our standards that we have set for our workers, basic rights for our workers. Tesla gets pissed and goes to Texas. Go ahead, man.
If you look at workmen's compensation rights, as far as for each state in the U.S., the states with the two lowest ratings consistently are Texas and Florida. And that goes back to when George Bush was the governor of Texas and Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida. They enacted very business-friendly legislation that weighs heavily in the favor of the employer, not the injured employee.
Of course. That which brings me up to another thing now. All this winterizing, and they're going to have to make, if they do make some sort of change, they have licensed contractors in Texas, but I believe it's only HVAC, plumbing, and that's it.
No, they have
electrical.
They have electrical. They have masons and all that. But the thing
licensed contractors.
Yeah, it's really easy to get like a C10 in Texas.
Yeah, but we have over 70 classifications of contractors licenses. Right. Do they? I don't think they have 70, bro.
Most of them are GCs, general contractors.
So
if you're a GC, you can bid a job.
You can bid a job, but you're only allowed to do 3 of the core jobs on it. So the roofing,
I'm not sure.
Concrete, I'm pretty sure on that one, dude. You can't install HVAC if you're a general contractor. You just can't do that. You got to go hire
a guy.
HVAC, yeah.
Yeah.
So
meet inspection.
You can do the electrical, you can do the plumbing, you can do the concrete. That's about it. But anyways, dude, I don't think they have licensed guys out there, man. So I don't know who's going to end up fixing all this shit in Texas, but that's that. And
now they're grossly behind the ball on this. They're in no position to play catch-up with nothing with bad weather going forward. So they've got to meet...
Yeah, no shit, it's going to get hot now.
They've got to do damage control and look out for these folks. Okay, this is a fucked up situation. They're making it worse through lack of state action. They should have mobilized the National Guard. They should have got people already bringing water in from other states. They could have done that. They chose not to.
I don't want to... You know what? I don't... Dude, because they think they're independent, man. They think they're independent. If anybody can tell me what has Texas done in the last 50 years of any significance, please let me know what they've done. Please let me know what they have done to lift humanity.
They haven't won a playoff game.
Oh, shit, man. Dude, I think you're going to see the silhouette, man. So no one's going to see you. Larry does a lot of the high-end, not the high-end, the fairly popular stuff.
I deal with a lot of electricity. I very much understand utility in that whole market.
Engineer.
But you just have to look at, it's also an indictment. Our country's electrical grid has been in a bad way for a long time. Our bridges, our roads, infrastructure development is badly needed in this country, but we try to privatize everything, and then it just comes in at a very expensive dollar to the taxpayer, and everybody gets their beak wet. So in order to get things fixed, we have to have sensible federal regulations that are sensibly enforced and easily implemented. And privatization doesn't allow that to happen. It's all about the bottom line.
I'm going to ask you a question since I got you here, man. Man, you were in Idaho or Indiana, man, and you were eating dinner, and then
I was in Idaho.
Dude, so listen to this. Tell them what happened.
This is around Thanksgiving, and I was sitting at this area, and these two couples sat down, locals. I was in Boise for work, and we started talking, and during the course of our conversation, the one guy with we'll call it couple number 2, him and his gal, he asked me where I was from, and I said I was from California, and he instantly, fuck you, we're out of here, grabbed his wife and walked away. And I was like, what is this all about? And they hate Californians in Idaho. And ironically, since then, which was back in Thanksgiving time frame last year, I had run into someone on a gig maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to him about the Idaho thing, and he said, yeah, don't tell people you're from California. He's got a friend that moved out there, and he just tells them he's from back east, and they leave him alone. But yeah,
fuck that, dude. I will never. That's why I will never move out of here, bro.
If you parked your car in the driveway and you had California plates, you would be marked in the neighborhood.
Folks,
they don't like us because we move out there. We buy homes that are a lot cheaper and a lot nicer with the profit you make off the sale of your property in Cali, and it's raising the rates. Well, isn't that free enterprise and capitalism as well?
Exactly.
So get over it,
And that's another thing I want to tell you Californians that moved out to Texas, and all you progressives in Texas, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing about it? You moved to a right-wing red state. Yeah, you almost turned it purple, but what the fuck are you going to do about it? You know what to do. You're a Californian. I don't give a shit where you live. You're from here. You move somewhere else. Your Californian values, bring it up, bring it out, and make it loud, dude.
Well, a perfect example of what just went down in Texas, for example, Beto O'Rourke, who lost the Senate seat to Ted Cruz in this last election cycle, mobilized a group of people, and they made 200,000 calls throughout the state to check on senior citizens to make sure they were okay. While he was doing this, a guy who lost the Senate election, the current senator that defeated him, was going down to Cancun.
Oh yeah, Cruz.
To stay at the Ritz-Carlton. So you've got a guy that lost, and he still cares so much about the state, whether it's optics or not. I'm sure there's a political component to his actions, but at least he's trying to do something right to help people out. The guy that they keep re-electing bagged ass and went down south,
Yeah,
and
man.
Of course, no COVID protocol when he came back. None of that thing.
So, dudes, I think that's it, man. That's it for this commentary coming to you from In-N-Out. So, look, I'm going to show you. Here's the In-N-Out. Look, now you can see me. Now there's no silhouette, so I was trying to hide my boy's ID, because if you see him, you guys all know what's up with him, man. You guys be, oh, I know that guy. I'm just kidding.
But stay active, people, and stay educated. There's good sources of objective, non-political information, and you just have to look at the facts. When you look at the facts, which aren't a lot of times sexy for the press to broadcast, but the facts, Texas dropped the ball, and they keep dropping the ball, even just through inaction. They messed up, and if they try to correct this, they're going to have to admit to mistakes being made, and they won't do that.
Also, a lot of the other states, man, I think the ones right surrounding Texas, you guys are all on the same plan as them. So beware.
Oh, Oklahoma and Kansas. They tried this a couple of years ago in Kansas and Oklahoma, and both of the states are basically, they've been bankrupt for several years.
Right on.
It doesn't work. You have to pay taxes. It sucks, but there's no choice.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for this commentary on the Red Star Report. Just a bit of news. We do have our first live podcast event in Long Beach in about 2 weeks. It's in protest for, I forgot the guy's name that got killed by the cops. There's just been so many guys being shot by the cops. I can't seem to keep up. But another poor guy got shot by the cops in 2017. So we're having actually a 2-day vigil at the Wardlow station in Long Beach. So we'll be podcasting from there directly. I'm not saying we're spending the night there, but we'll be podcasting from there, right? All right, Shankar, ready to start report?